What we're going to do here is we're going to do a review and a discussion about it. It will not be a spoiler discussion, but after we're done with that, we are going to ease into the spoilers because this has been out so long and people are talking about this movie in such specific ways that you have to kind of get into spoiler territory to get into a really good discussion at this point.
You're so,
So what?
real.
So real nasty is what it is. That's what people been talking about this movie for days, for weeks, for at this point probably for months. They've been talking about this film because apparently there are some they used to use the term raunchy. Not this, just old nasty ass movie right here.
I've been holding back, but if you're gonna say that, man, this movie is about a freak, dude.
Yeah. So what you have here, don't be fooled by because this is probably one of the most British ass names you could have. Oliver Quick.
Yeah, like he's a nice little fellow.
Yeah, don't trust that. Oliver Quick goes to Oxford, but doesn't have too much of a social life. Oliver has no friends. The only friend that he has is weirder than him and more annoying than him. But somehow, some way, not only does he get in with the popular crowd, but he gets in with probably the most popular boy at college, Felix. I think Felix Cutter. It's a Catton. Felix Catton. And it goes beyond that. When tragedy strikes Oliver Quick's life, Felix says, you know what? Don't just hang out with me at school, man. If you got no place to go, if you're all alone, come back with me to jolly old Saltburn, where my family's fucking nuts.
Yeah, they're the crazy ones.
But old Oliver got something for him, the officer. I'll show y'all asses crazy. But so people, here's the thing that I wanted to talk about with this. I did not see this movie when it came out. I don't know if the circumstances were, I think I was out of town or I don't know what was going on, but I just happened, maybe there was another screening going on. I just happened to miss it. Martin saw it. And Martin kind of he said, yeah, it's all right. And just kind of brushed it off and just left it at that. It wasn't until a few days later that this movie just started popping up all over my news aggregators, started popping up in my emails. People were saying, man, have you seen this crazy ass movie, Saltburn? Articles are talking about certain scenes with this film. People are saying it's the #1 movie on Amazon right now, a must see, because hey, listen, you got to see this because you're going to want to be on the conversation when everybody else is talking about it. When you're at the party and everybody's talking about Saltburn, do you want to be like Oliver? No friends? No one to talk to? You got to mention this movie right here. You have to at least see the scenes that people are talking about.
Yeah, and there's certain things that you think about while watching, at least I did, where I really want to ask you if you thought the same thing, where it's like a red herring and you don't want to give it away.
Yeah, no, we will spoil it. So it'll be a non-spoiler / spoiler discussion for this movie right here, man. Yeah, and I mean, this movie is... it's freaking people out. This is one of the things with this movie. It's freaking people out on so many different levels and so many different ways.
Yeah.
Because I'm just looking in the chat right now. And let me go ahead and take the scroll off here. Or not the scroll, but the chat. But like in the chat, people are mentioning how, first of all, this movie, as you can see by my man Felix right here, is a very gay film.
This is queer cinema to the highest degree.
Yes. It's got some very, very blatant gay themes in there.
And, and it brings up some very strong concepts that are...
Well, hold on, because I want to mention the gay thing right here.
No, that's what I was talking about.
What's that?
There are concepts that this movie brings up that are adjacent to a lot of other ideas that you see throughout queer cinema. Movies like Tarnation or something like Mysterious Skin. There's concepts in those movies that are brought up at the beginning of Saltburn.
And this is driving homophobes crazy, of course.
Oh, I can imagine.
You mean that old gay ass movie it's popular, it's successful? What happened to Go Woke, Go Broke? I mean, god damn it, failed again.
Too gay.
But no, so it's pissing off the homophobes out there. It's pissing off I'm sure conservatives. It's pissing off non-conservatives, man. People are saying, man, listen, I'm an open-minded person, but this movie is just too nasty for me. And then it's pissing off people who are thinking like, well, okay, this movie's just being pretentious, all right? This movie's just being weird to be weird. So this movie's got a lot of people talking. It's one of those movies where you get people talking by pushing certain things and then pissing people off. And then when you do get people angry enough, what are people gonna do? They're gonna watch anyway. Mm-hmm. I can tell you, half these people who talk about they don't like gay people and don't like gay themes, they watching this movie.
Sitting there watching with their arms crossed.
Are their hands on their dick?
In the bath.
Yeah. So, but then it's getting a lot of praise from people. Mm-hmm. People are saying that they really enjoyed this film. Hey, I like crazy shit.
Me too.
Yeah, and I do too. So, let's go ahead and start out the review. Let's then get our opinions about this film, and let's address the big question first, which is, does this live up to the buzz? And I can only answer that for myself. Mm-hmm. I can't, because everybody has, a different opinion on whether it does or not. Some people are very satisfied with what they got. Some mm-hmm. people are like, yeah, I don't know what people are talking about. Well, for me, does it live up to the buzz? And the answer for me is no. No, it does not. Now, first of all, I'm a nasty son of a bitch. So it takes a lot to come in and make me feel uneasy. But I was impressed how this movie did at one point. Kind of put me in a very uncomfortable place. But let me just say, when I say it doesn't live up to the hype, there are 3 particular scenes in this movie that I'm sure have people talking.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah,
just about.
It's about 3 scenes that I would say have people talking. And listen, I don't think they're shocking. They're just nasty. And they're doing things that, listen, I'm not, like I said, I'm not repulsed. I'm not angry. I'm not shocked by this. Like I said, it's just nasty stuff in there. It's kind of nasty things. But if I caught you doing this in front of me, if I caught anybody doing this in front of me, I'd take my belt off and beat the shit out of you. I'll turn the hose on you or something,
Yeah.
It's just that I'm gonna give this to you, but here's why I kind of get into conflict with this movie, because while I'm sitting up here saying that it doesn't really live up to any kind of hype or buzz for me, and I'm not really shocked by anything, my biggest problem with this movie is that I think it actually is a good movie.
Yeah,
I think it's a good movie, but I think it's a good enough movie where it could have been great. I think this could have been a great. Right now, I just think it's good, but it could have been great if they weren't trying to be so shocking.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If they weren't doing all the weird, nasty stuff that they're doing in here, and I think the stuff that they are doing that's weird and nasty, it gets in the way of what could have made this great.
See, it's funny you say that, because I'm kind of on the other side of it, where I think it did live up to the hype. And these scenes that you're talking about, one of those scenes, the most shocking thing ever in there, that was one of my favorite parts of the movie. Mm-hmm. The one that happens early on in the movie, it made me laugh so hard. And I think it has to do with these characters, man, that they really are well established as gray,
Yeah. Well, you know what? No, I'll give you that, because I would say that, listen, the movie is so popular. See, that's what I mean by this movie is good, because I think that the movie is so popular that, while people are talking about, all the overhyped elements in this, which are the things that we're talking about, kind of sexual or nasty things in here, while people are going in to see that stuff, they are watching a lot of great things here.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think people are just talking about this movie just because of the shock value of it, or because of the controversial stuff, or because of the, overhyped things in here, the buzzworthy things, I think that when you talk about the characters, mm-hmm. I think that the performances in here are great. For characters, now I'm not going to take the story aside. For characters, that portion of the script is amazing.
Home run, I would say. Oh, yeah.
Everybody had a great part. Everybody, the script makes sure that everybody has a great scene. Everybody has a great line. Everybody gets their moment to come in and do something that really stands out here performance-wise. And I was spellbound. I was really spellbound by these unpredictable characters here. The performances and the scenes, for me, they kept getting better and better. They the performances in here they kept getting better as things escalated. Now, while the movie does go to some weird places, and whilst I might agree that some of these things might be a little overhyped, as the movie does get crazier, the performances get a lot better. They just get out of control, and they just hook you in, man. This is not a spoiler right here, but this is a scene that happens later on in the film. By the time they get there's a lunch scene in this movie. And I was just in a trance watching this scene right here, because it's the kind of stuff that I like, where things are just spiraling out of control. People are trying to hold their composure, but they're slowly getting crazier. I love, now that's just me, but I love scenes like that are just kind of uncomfortable. They're just kind of uneasy. And as people try to like act normal, the more they try to act normal, the weirder things get. And that's where you get some of these really great performances from in this movie.
Cold hands, apparently. You have to have cold hands.
I'm so sorry.
Nothing's happening.
What else is there to do, darling?
Anything.
You better sit your high-yellow ass down somewhere.
Yeah, that's one thing about the movie is it did a great job of just fluctuating the tension. Like it would have different focus that would just raise it up and keep you on the edge of your seat.
Well, look at everything that's going on in this scene. Now, not only is great performances in this scene right here by these actors, who I'll name in a little bit, but I mean, the direction and the artistry behind this, everything was brilliant about this scene. Of course, the acting was amazing, but the pacing, as everything just slowly escalated, man, the shift in color, to this intense red that just added to, the intensity that's going on with the emotions here. This whole thing of people in the background having different reactions to what's going on at the table. This is a brilliantly directed scene right here. And I mean that's what I'm talking about. When I talk about greatness, that's up there with some of the greatest direction out there that people are doing today.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that this has a lot of art house values that people like. Oh yeah. There's a lot of tension there, and I think that I like the way that you described it, where it was the way that it was flowing. Like for me, it came in waves, like where I was entranced in it. That's what you said, and I was really engaged in it. But it was almost like it was too self-aware at times. Like where it was like winking. It's like, look at this beautiful filmmaking trick that we're doing, and it would kind of take me out of it. Whether it was the filmmaking or the music. That being said, it didn't bother me, but it was noticeable.
Well, see, the thing is, there's no music in this scene. And that's another thing that's brilliant right here. If you really understand your scene, you'll know that sometimes you do not need music. Music is just a manipulator.
Oh yeah.
All right. If you are very aware of your scene and know how everything else besides music can speak to the audience to bring tension and emotion, then you let it happen. Like I said, if you look at this, and I'm not even, and also in addition to like the color and the pacing here, sound, you leave music out and you let sound kind of dictate where things are going when it comes to a tension-filled scene like this. Like if you listen, just the pouring of a glass or somebody drinking, just subtle sounds that really just make you nervous. The sound effects carry that scene.
Oh yeah.
You don't need an amateur would have gone in there and done this with music like music that sounds like it's in a thriller or a horror film.
Yeah, a lot of violin.
Yeah. Yeah, this built tension because people were swallowing, people were breathing, and that's the kind of uneasy tension that you feel when you're in a room where everybody's mad at each other or everybody's kind of have some passive aggressiveness towards each other. This is amazing right here. I mean, when I watched this, I just felt chills because I was like, my God, this director she really understands how to get across true emotion and tension without having to by working with less.
Yeah.
And it really takes a talented director to know that. And a lot of people just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, going along with what you're saying right there, that's what I really liked about this movie is it's a real movie. It's not leaning on any sort of special effects at all. It's like They're characters. They are telling the story, and it
Yeah.
is done through an artistic lens.
Well, another thing is that it enhances these characters more too. Now I can't tell you why everybody's acting so weird right here. By the way, they've been acting weird throughout the whole movie, but particularly right here, why they're behaving this way. But it does even develop the characters even more because these are people who are all about, keeping up airs.
Yeah.
They're all about, trying to keep up this look of proper British behavior, and they're all trying to act so polite. They're all trying to act so civil. Meanwhile, something horrible has happened, and they just won't acknowledge it. And it just goes to show you just how these people who throughout this whole movie have tried to look down on people. They've tried to actually, be the most confident people in the room, and yet this shows where all their insecurities are. It's there's a lot of layers that are pulled back in this one particular scene, and this is why this director has done a brilliant job with this. Which is why I'm kind of disappointed that the movie went in a certain direction because they do something that's very much in contrast to what they did right here. But I also think that as far as acting goes, I think that there's this fascination with everybody that's going on now with Barry. What's his last name? Keoghan?
I'd have to look.
Keoghan, I think, and Keoghan.
Barry Cogan.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Keoghan. I think that there's a fascination going on with this guy right here. I compare him to somebody like Will Poulter.
Okay, yeah.
Because at one time, Will Poulter was like the ugly kid, or at least that's what everybody called him, the weird looking ugly kid. And then all of a sudden he got hot, and I think there's something going on with Barry Keoghan, or however you say his name, to where at one time he was the weird ugly kid in all these movies. And now somehow he's gotten, if you look at him in this movie, everybody's like, damn, he's got muscles and he's kind of handsome in his own weird way. And I think that people are just starting to like wake up to this guy. And I think after this movie, as much as people have called him an odd looking dude, I think he's going to be considered kind of a sex symbol after this.
Maybe, yeah, I could see it. I mean, I thought that his character was really interesting.
He spends so much time nude in this movie, his ass just hanging out. And he's muscular,
I guess I didn't see it like that, but yeah, I guess so.
Well, how can you not see it like that? His dick is out throughout this movie.
Okay, there are definitely points where his dick is out, but yeah.
The only reason why I say that is because, and it's almost a flaw for me, because in the movie he's so muscular. I'm like, okay, so you were the nerdy guy.
Well, I thought that they did a good job of explaining his character. Like he's not just a nerdy guy. He's the number one nerdy guy. Like they throw a line out there saying that he's the top student at Oxford, and like he's a very interesting type of outcast,
It's just weird that he was, because once he takes his shirt off, I'm like, listen, I ain't, I don't want to have sex with the guy or anything, but I got to admit, when he takes his shirt off, I'm like, all right, I imagine that our guys would look at him kind of hot because he's well toned, man. I was like, all right, I don't know if that goes well with him being like this nebbish, student who has no social life. Mm-hmm. He just didn't look like he didn't look the part for me.
Okay, I could see that, but to me, it totally fit.
Really?
It made sense. Yeah, I mean, he is a muscular type of outcast, but the way that they describe his character, it made sense to me.
Yeah, I like the character. Don't get me wrong.
He's always riding his bike, staying in shape.
I don't give you that damn biceps and triceps, a strong ass chest. All right? Nah, they showed the legs and they were large. I'd be like, okay, all right. I will say this too about the movie. All the weird sex stuff taken out of it, man, it's still a lot of fun, because I think another reason why people are watching this movie, and something that was fun to me, is that we all have this fascination with rich people, man. We all have this fascination with wealthy people, and the reason why is because I think we, especially with weird eccentrics, man. We all want their life. We all want to live their life. We all want to be them. And if we can't have what they have, then we want to see their asses taken down. We want to see, we want them to be on our level. We want to see their wealth taken away from them.
Eat the rich.
Yeah, especially this family right here, man. Because listen, they're the worst.
They are an odd bunch, to say the least.
Well, these people are some of the worst kinds of rich people because what they do is they act like they're kind. They think that they're kind.
They think they care.
Exactly. But they adopt people as playthings. You know, that's what they're doing. They adopt people as playthings, and then they, and it makes them feel like they're doing something good, but at the same time it empowers them to look down on somebody. It's almost like a charity thing that they're doing with them. Like, you'll never be on our status right here, so you'll always be looked down upon by us. But it makes me feel so good to actually bring you in for a little while, give you a glimpse of the life you'll never have.
And we'll get into it in the spoiler discussion because that part of the movie made me think something was happening.
Yeah, well, I can show you a part that happens earlier in the movie. Carey Mulligan is in this. It's almost like a glorified cameo that she has. And she plays the friend of Elspeth. Pamela, yeah, who plays, and that's played by your Gone girl, Rosamund Pike.
I'm glad you finally brought up, she had the best lines in the movie.
She had some of the most amazing lines in this movie.
She was so funny.
But she's also a piece of shit.
Oh, she is the biggest bitch in the world.
She brings her friend in, and like I said, man, she does it in the name of trying to help a friend out. But the whole time, it's just this attitude of belittling this woman, man. Just almost making a mockery out of her because she looks like goddamn the Mad Hatter from Tim Burton's the Alice in Wonderland. I think they have her around because she's some weird looking goth chick. It's a way of them to like give her the side eye of sarcasm and. Also just look down on her, again, as if she's not worth being there the whole time. You're just there to entertain us.
How will I cope?
Well, I could actually stay for a little bit
Oh,
longer.
no, darling, no. You must be desperate to be rid of us and find your own place. I quite understand.
Now, I can understand wanting her weird ass out of there, but at the same time, you don't have to be so condescending to her. And that's what they do, man. All of them, even some who would just people who just ride in their coattails too. People who are not in the family.
If someone isn't being manipulative in that scene, at another point you will see them try to manipulate someone else. This is a big game between all these characters.
Yeah, like this guy Farley. Farley is not in this family. Farley's a piece of shit. Farley's dick riding his family, man.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's just a hanger on. He's sort of getting the residuals because his mother happens to be related to them. But he has such this entitlement. To this family that he also, and he's worse than others because while they are they are what they are, they and what they have is theirs. He's the one that's just hanging around, trying to catch whatever they throw at him, and yet he looks down on everybody else just like he was born into that family. He's one of the people that I first saw that I just couldn't stand, man, because he looks down so much on Oliver.
Oh yeah, there's a scene where they set you up to hate his guts.
Oh yeah,
because you think that something awful has happened, and then he's just like being a dick to another character.
Oh yeah.
You're around, man. No, you can't snake your way out of the ground.
I'm not.
And it looks like you are. On the floor by your feet.
And you know what I saw there? I was like, I don't even trust Felix, man, who's played brilliantly by Jacob Elordi, man, who's Elvis.
And, wow, that's who that was?
Yeah, he said this kind of prepared him to be Elvis. He was Elvis in the Priscilla movie. He was also, if you recognize him, he was in that movie, because I was like, where did I see this guy before? He's in that movie, The Kissing Booth. Okay. Yeah, which is on Netflix. I was like, I bullshit. But no, he's really good. But, this is one of the other good things about the movie. You don't know when people are going to be using somebody. Jacob... Felix right here, even though he's doing a kind gesture, I'm thinking like, all right, is he just like his mom, who just wants to adopt people? And Farley, yeah, I know Farley was a cousin, man. But Farley still, like I said, they almost look at Farley like he's charity too. Mm-hmm. But yet, for this family, shit rolls downhill. Mm-hmm. You got the real family right here, then you got the cousin, and then the cousin looks down on anybody who's an outsider.
I can see why you'd say that about Felix, but for the most part, like early on in the movie, like he's not like these other characters where like immediately, like after they introduce him, they'll do something where like, wow, you're kind of a dick for that. Him, he's pretty slow at developing, but like he's never truly a monster, I feel like the others.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think so. I think he's trying to rise above his his family.
yeah.
But if you notice throughout the movie, they keep saying like, "Oh, you brought another one." You know, come on.
Yeah.
So listen, man. No, he's not any better than they are. Really, I think he thinks he's rising above them, but I don't. But you know, you can never tell. Is this the moment where he actually, you know, Felix grows a heart, or is this the moment where it's just another project for him to bring home? You know, you can't really tell with that, which is cool. You know, there's a little ambiguity.
And we'll talk about that later, but I thought that was intentional, like all those lines.
No, you know, thing is with this movie, that's why I think people like this, because, you know, we want to be them, but we think we'll never be like them. So we like seeing them get their comeuppance. You know, I think people enjoy seeing Oliver turn the tables on these people in certain scenes in this movie, because there's certain times when Oliver goes toe to toe with them, and Oliver's not as weak as we think he is. It's a great looking movie too.
Amazing lighting in this.
Cinematography is gorgeous, man. And that's a lot thanks to Mr. Saltburn right there. You know, that castle or the Saltburn estate is a character itself.
Yeah, it is.
Saltburn is pretty much right up there with any of these family members that we see. You know, it's huge. It's like, I mean, we're talking about some Resident Evil shit that's going on.
I was thinking The Shining, because I mean, you mentioned the maze, but yeah.
Yeah. And we are going to spoil some things. Like I said, we're just doing this for people who aren't here right now. I mean, who are here who haven't seen the movie. We'll make one more point here, and then we'll move on to some of the spoiler stuff that we're going to talk about.
We're going to give ratings before we get into spoilers?
Yeah, we can do that. I will say, now we're talking about the freakiness in the movie. The sex stuff, the weird stuff.
It's a movie for freaks.
Yeah, I'm one. You know, and even then they kind of pushed me. So I was talking about how I don't think it lives up to the hype. I think it actually takes away from this movie. I think it hurts this movie because I keep mentioning how great this movie is, except I end up saying, oh, well, it's just good with great moments in it. I think there's a couple of things that did make me accept the freakiness in this movie, though. So as we keep talking about Oliver, man, we keep mentioning that Oliver is a weirdo, man. And I like how it's slowly revealed that he's probably crazier than the rest of all these other people. So, you know, just his freaky nature alone, I liked, and I think it played well to the movie. And some of the things that he did in the film, I thought were true to his character.
Yeah, I think that the movie's a little bit overbearing with his character and does a little bit too much. But at the same time, I never was like, that doesn't fit this guy. That seems wrong. Every time they would make a choice with this character, some of it would make me go, wow. But I can see it, and it made sense.
Yeah, eventually, you know, it does. Also, one of the things that you asked me about this movie, you're saying, what is this movie?
Yeah, what like genre would you say this falls in?
I would think that it's easy to overlook this, and some people are going to argue with me about this, but I do think that this movie is a comedy.
See, I was hesitant to call it a comedy because there's some amazing drama in it. And I was just like pulling back. I was like, it's an art house queer film.
Well,
That's what it
it's
is.
a mixture of a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
But I do think that for a lot of it, it's a comedy, and that's why that weird shit happens, because it's going over the top of a lot of things.
It's supposed to be funny.
Yeah, no, it's supposed to. No, it's a dark. It is a dark, dry comedy. Like when we say comedy, we're thinking of jokes a minute, you know, slapstick, broad stuff. But this is one of those movies where, you know, it's very dry wit, very dry dialogue, very dry jokes in this. But see, what made me say this is because, and listen, you could almost say like maybe it's a dramedy.
Yeah, it's very slow in a lot of ways, but the laughs are just so big when they hit.
Yeah, no, because I will say that there are a lot of scenes where you don't recognize that the dialogue is supposed to be humor because people are so dry with it. They're just sitting back and they're so calm and they're not delivering things like you normally deliver a joke. But the humor is being found in how these characters are. The humor is being found on how dry these characters are behaving with certain situations.
Yep.
And then just to remind you that this is someone, and I'll go with dramedy because it is a mixture of a lot of things right here. Even a thriller in a way.
Oh, yeah. A lot of tension.
Yeah. But every now and then, a character will let that crazy out, and it'll be something hilarious, man.
It will be.
Most of this came from Richard E. Grant in the movie.
Oh, yeah. He's subtle in this.
Richard E. Grant plays Sir. What was his name?
Let's see, I got it here.
Sir Cawthorn, or whatever the family's called.
Yeah, Sir James.
Sir James Catton. Sir James Catton. And most of the time, he sits back and he acts so regal and he acts so well, refined. But every now and then, something will happen, and his ass will get excited, and that crazy will come out just for a brief moment.
Invite whoever you want. All your friends.
What friends?
That right there, and then when you hear like that action right there, and then when you hear what he wants to do,
How about fancy dress?
Oh, yes.
I can wear my suit for armor, Elspeth.
It's like, were you paying attention to what we were talking about?
how'd you get your money, man? Your crazy ass. I mean, that's why you got your money, because you so crazy. You know, scenes like that made me laugh completely out loud, man. And I thought, right, okay, that's why I say that this movie, maybe that's why it's attracting so many people and it's getting people talking, because it is a mixture of a lot of genres.
Oh, yeah.
It is definitely a comedy, I think, in some parts, some parts of drama, and some parts of thriller.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and all that under the veil of an art house movie.
Yeah.
A queer art house movie.
And it's a gay movie. No, man, it's a lot going on, and I will give this to this director. I appreciate a movie that can it's what they call genre defying.
Yeah,
you know,
genre bending.
You take a lot of elements in there from different genres, and you mix it into one, and people don't know what to think of it. Sometimes it's a mess, and sometimes in a movie like this, I thought she balanced this out well.
Very well. Not
Yeah.
perfect, but very close to it.
No, it's like a well-balanced meal right here from
Wow!
a well-balanced meal from Factor, man.
Fully salted, no burn.
Well, you know, not a whole lot of salt, because we're talking about eating healthy. Healthy with Factor here, man. And Factor is the meal kit that is for people like me, really. And if you're like me, you're very busy. In fact, sometimes you forget to eat because you just don't have time to cook. But you don't want to go out and just get anything. You don't go out and get fast food, or you just don't make any kind of canned food or anything, because you're trying to be healthy. And if that is you, then Factor is the meal kit for you. Thing is, it saves time with healthy meals. Forget lunch preps and rushing to get dinner done. You know, Factor has 2-minute restaurant quality meals that are delivered right to your door. You know, no more wasting time in the kitchen. You just heat them up, man. But like I said, it's not some raggedy TV dinner right there. This is good stuff here, man. Save money too. You know, again, if you're like me, you're probably doing a lot of takeout, or you're probably doing a lot of delivery. You know, it adds up. Trust me. I just found out how much I was spending on
Barbecue, right?
Barbecue turkey and chicken, man. I was spending. I looked at what I don't know, I'm not gonna even say it. $400. It was a lot of money I spent over the last couple of months. It was.
I'm not gonna say it. There it is.
Yeah, a lot of money, man. So this would benefit myself and you, man. Factor is cheaper and sometimes way more delicious than takeout. Factor is flexible. You know, you can change up your order every week with plans from 4 to 18 meals per week, or you can pause and schedule your plans whenever you need them again. Variety. I mean, what's the use of having all these meals delivered to you if you're eating the same old thing? You don't have to do that with Factor. Factor has a lot of variety. They now offer loads of snack options and breakfast. They have smoothies, juices, and more that you can put into your schedule. And here's another thing. You got a special occasion coming up? How about Gourmet Plus? It's the perfect solution if you're looking for something fast and upscale and you want to impress some people for this function that you got going on. They got nice options for that too. Listen, this is a win-win for everybody, man. You're saving money, you're saving time, you're impressing people,
You're feeding yourself.
you're staying strong. You know, it's strong. And it's for every lifestyle out there too, because some people are like, well, I see a lot of meat up in there, man. I'm a vegetarian. You know, they got you, all right?
Man,
Don't
look
worry
at that
about it.
salad in there.
Yeah, look at that. Everything, man. I'm a pescatarian. Man, they got you, man. I'm telling you, you got no excuse. You can't argue with this. You need it. You want it. And you definitely can't argue with this deal I'm about to give these people right here.
Gotta get it.
Gotta get it. Look at this. If you head to factormeals.com/toasted50 and you use the code toasted50, you'll get 50% off. Again, that's code toasted50 at factormeals.com/toasted50 to get that 50% off. Ooh, that's a lot.
That's a
Don't
big
worry.
deal.
That's a big deal. It's so big that some people are like, man, I can't process this right now. I'm going to spell it out for you. Spell it out for these people, Julian. It says here, factormeals.com/toasted. That's FACTORMEALS toasted, and that's the number 50. You put that in there, that code toasted50, you're gonna get 50% off. But you're gonna get 100% quality, 100% healthy food, 100% saving time, 100% saving money. Just go ahead and jump on this right now. And I want to thank Factor for coming in and sponsoring this portion of the show. And I want to thank all of you out there for your support. All right, getting back into it. And we're about to jump into spoilers right now. Not right now, just a couple of points. And then we'll let you know. We'll say spoilers, and then you can be on your way. Or you can stick around. So I'm just going to talk about what problems I have with this without elaborating. I'll elaborate way more when we get into spoilers. But my problem with this movie, because I said, it's a movie with a lot of great, brilliant things in it. Overall, it could have been great. But leaving it, if I just had to judge it, for a movie, I would say it's just good. It's very good, not great. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is because while it has a lot of great writing, it cheapens it with a twist at the end. For something that's not even that surprising.
Yeah.
They laid it all out there. It wasn't like they were trying to hide.
Yeah.
It was something that they were telling you pretty much, and it made for a very predictable ending. Now, it didn't have to be predictable. It could have laid it all out there, and we would have followed along, and they should have done that more. But then to try to pull a twist at the end, it's like, all right, well, I saw it coming, and now this is really bad writing right here, and you're making me feel like you're trying to surprise me when I'm not being surprised at all. It's just, I thought it was pretty bad.
And after the twist, like, there's a moment where it's like, ooh, this would be a really good part to end it. But it's like, no. We got one more scene that we want to throw in there to really freak people out.
Yeah.
And they keep it going. That being said, I get what you're saying. It did not ruin the movie for me, but I did notice, I was like, ooh, there was a better way to do this for sure.
Yeah, it didn't ruin the movie for me, only in the fact, like I said, that it could have been so much better. And it ruined it for me in that I was really into this film and giving it a pass on a lot of the stuff that it was doing. I said, I'm not shocked by this. You ain't getting me. I've seen everything. All right, but hell, I've done some of this shit. But no, I have not. No, I have not. I haven't done any of this. But I didn't mind that if it all led up to something that really meant something at the end of the movie. And some of that stuff they did really just had the legs taken out from under it by that ending right there.
I think the problem with this movie, and I wonder if you'll agree with this, is that it was too on the nose at times, especially with the music. I thought that the movie didn't let me find the cleverness in it. It wanted to show me how clever it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that in certain parts. And speaking of these criticisms, now this is where you get to these mainly three parts of the movie where you just got to talk about them in detail, and a few other things in detail to just kind of elaborate on what it is that we're talking about here. And like I said, everybody's been talking about it so much that you can't gloss over it.
Oh yeah,
you got to go deep in,
because people would have asked in the comments. They'd been like, "How did you not talk about A, B, and C?"
Yeah. So let's go ahead now. Spoilers. Here we go.
Do you want to give the ratings first?
Okay, we'll do that. It's a matinee for me.
Okay. For me, regular old full price. I love movies, and this was a good movie to me. Like,
okay.
it was really enjoyable to watch. It messed with me as an audience member in a really fun way, I thought. And it was really funny. It got some really good laughs. And I think the mom, what's her name? Rosamund Pike.
Right, yeah.
She's gonna get a nomination for Best Supporting Actor, I think. She steals the movie as far as I'm concerned.
She's got some great lines, and I'll mention some of that in the spoiler discussion, because she said one line in here, and I was like, okay, that's a well-written line right there.
Yeah, she is a world-class bitch in this. It's awesome.
Yeah, she is, man. She really is. But let's go ahead and talk about these three things that I feel that got people buzzing in here, man. So I'm just going to name them by a word. You'll know what I'm talking about. The period, the graveyard, and the bathtub. So I'm just going to go over those real quick, and then we can elaborate on those. The bathtub scene, and y'all know where it is. You're gonna make me spell it out.
I'll do it.
No, 'cause you're gonna do it nasty.
Felix is jerking off in the bathtub, and Oliver sees him, And at that point in the movie, it was almost implied that they were hooking up in a weird way.
I don't think they were.
They weren't, though. Yeah, that's the thing, is they weren't, but the movie was making it feel like it, at least to me.
Yeah.
But Felix is jerking off in the bathtub, and then when he gets done, Oliver comes in, and he's just sucking up those juices. I love that. That was my favorite part of the movie.
Let's just say it's very tainted, nasty.
Sick fuck.
It's very nasty bathwater. It's more than dirt. All right?
Yeah.
It's more than dirt. It's more than dingleberries. It's more than anything. It's some very, it's some very tainted water. Let's just say the milkman came by that day. Let's just say my man got his protein that night.
He did.
Yeah, man. So my man is sitting up here drinking this milky bathwater right here. And I'm going to tell you, man, I wasn't shocked by it, but I did want to throw up. It got my gag reflex going. Even looking at that right there, just like, it's all right. You know what? I like I said, I would whoop his ass if I saw him doing some shit like that. But okay, I will tell you this. Well, I'm talking about how these scenes in the movie where I'm not shocked by them and I felt like it was unnecessary. Don't let me say that I felt like they were unnecessary. I think that they did serve a purpose in the film.
Especially at that point with that character, because that's the twist that I was talking about, is early on in the movie, he talks about being sexually abused and all this stuff, and that lined up with that whole backstory.
Yeah,
but that was like the first twist where it's revealed Oliver's a fucking liar, and he's been lying about his whole persona.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with him, is he... Because if this is the case, is it open to interpretation that he was sexually abused by his...
No, he wasn't. He was lying to them.
Well, I know he was lying. Yeah, no, I didn't know if... I don't know if his freakish behavior has something to do with it. Or maybe his parents had done this to him at one time. I didn't think so, but...
No, that's why that twist was such a wow moment, because when you go home, you realize it's like, no, he grew up in a perfectly normal nuclear family. He had a mother and father that care very much about him, brothers and sisters, and he's going around telling people, yeah, my parents are drug addicts and I was sexually abused. I was making my mom throw up by the age of 9.
That's what he told...
Felix.
That's what he told Felix. Everybody's seen the movie. You know that this whole thing was planned and it was schemed for him to be friends with Felix. This whole thing was, telling him that his father had just died. His mother's crazy.
That's right. Yeah.
He calls and tells him his father's cracked his head on the sidewalk. His mother's distressed, but he can't go see her because she's weird. He was an only child, and Felix fell for all of this, even though it was, it was revealed that it was a trap. And it was planned the whole time. I felt that scene was needed because, it showed not only how much of a freak this guy is.
Oh yeah.
Which we were just kind of thinking he's just socially awkward.
And it showed his true intentions and why he wanted to be there.
Yeah, it showed, it showed that, he's not this socially awkward guy that we thought he was. He really is a disturbed person.
He's a freak.
Yeah, and his biggest problem is, is that he's looking for something. He's looking for something to latch himself onto.
The biggest problem is his dick in his pants.
Well, yeah, that too. But yeah, he's looking to attach himself to something bigger, but for whatever reason is that he's not satisfied with his life, and I think he's also feeling like I don't know how he feels about his own sexuality at times.
Yeah.
Why the hell are you jacking off with the door open loudly? Felix was jacking off with that door wide open loudly.
So at that point, there was this air, and especially the period scene, it was laying up this red herring for me, and I didn't want to talk about this during the review, but it was making me think the way that you were talking about, like, oh, Felix brought a new one and all that. And some of the imagery that's in there almost implies this. I thought that they were going to reveal that the whole family was vampires and that he was bringing someone in to be sacrificed. Because there's that shot after the period scene when he goes down on her where they show his mouth with blood on it. And I was like, are you trying to foreshadow that?
I never thought that.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, that's just me. But like, I think that's almost there intentionally.
I just thought that they were weird ass family, and I just thought. Now I would tell you that him jacking off the door open, I thought like that was too convenient. I thought that was too much of an invite for him to walk in and look at him. I was like, I don't know if anybody would do that, man. I don't know if anybody would, especially somebody like Felix, man. I don't think he'd. you know, he knows he invited somebody over. He just mentioned that we share the bathroom. He would lock the fucking doors, man.
But I'm telling you, I thought that he was just baiting him to be, because like even the dad, like dude, he looks like Gary Oldman as that vampire with his hair and stuff. I don't know. They gave off a vampire vibe. They're real succubuses.
I never thought that they were vampires. I thought that they were an eccentric family, and I never thought that Felix was leading them on by leaving the door open. At first I thought maybe, okay, I did. I thought maybe he was leaving the door open and trying to attract him in because he was gay also.
Yeah.
But then when it was revealed that nah, he was just in the bathroom just jacking it, and that was it. I was like, shut the fucking door, man. So there's another scene in here where, and you see it kind of in the trailer right here.
Oh yeah.
Where the sister in the family, whose name is Venetia Catton, played by Alison Oliver, who's very good also.
She's excellent in the movie.
Yeah, there's a scene in here where she's trying to lead Oliver on. She's always hanging out in front of his window, wearing skimpy clothes, like wearing nothing, and Oliver's like, "All right, keep playing," you know. and he goes down there and.
Yeah, he goes down there.
Yeah, literally, yeah. He goes down on her while she's on her period. He talks about like I'm a vampire and whatnot. Disgusting scene, you know. And that's actually kind of getting to people too.
It just plays into him being. I keep using this word, but I think it's so perfect. A freak.
Well, also I think it's beyond that. I think it's one of the first times that we see that. In addition to him going and drinking a dude's bathwater, no matter how nasty that water is, it also shows that at this point, this dude is gunning for the whole family. It's like it's not a moment anymore where he's just lusting after Felix, which is pretty much his biggest crush. But it goes to show that, you know what, this dude is planning something because he's going after this family no matter what. He's targeting everybody. Like he's targeting he's targeting the sister, Venetia. He's targeting the mom. He's targeting the cousin. It's like, okay, this dude is systematically going through and fucking these people and trying to do. I don't know what was happening yet, but this is where I was saying they start laying out the breadcrumbs of, okay, this guy is scheming to get one up on this family, which is why I thought that the ending didn't work too well because I already knew what he was doing. Once I saw him like go after her. And then other family members, and he was having sex with them or he was trying to charm them. I said, all right, this dude is trying to get their money or something. And that is why at the end of the movie, I was like, okay, this is why this is not a big deal.
Yeah, and I just realized, hearing you talk about it, like that scene after he seduces the sister, that was when he's talking to Felix after about it. Like that was like the first sign that what's his name, Oliver was comfortable lying like that.
Yeah.
Because he lies straight to Felix's face.
Oh, yeah. No, you know, but that part right there, where he went down the girl, that's the first part I said, all right, he's willing to do anything to get close with these people and get their trust, even going down on the girl in her period.
And he liked it.
Yeah. You know, and I think he enjoyed it because I think he loves doing just weird shit. But also, I think he just thought, I'm just going to do whatever it takes to get these people, no matter what conditions I'm under right now.
Now here we really go. Get really down to the nitty gritty, to the dirt, get to the floor.
The grave, unnecessary.
You think so?
Yeah, I thought I thought we didn't need that. I thought at this point, I thought it was unnecessary. Now, is it for some people? Does it mean something? Maybe. I just thought that at this point, man, you know, he already got what he wanted a lot from this family. Also, he loved Felix, I know, so he missed Felix, but I thought it could have been shown without having to get this weird with it. I thought this right here was pushing it this far just to get a reaction. But it did get people talking, so if that was the case, it worked. I just thought for me, you know, and it's different tastes for different people. If I was writing this story, I probably wouldn't have taken it that far. I don't think it was necessary to show his... I thought there were better ways to show that he was still into Felix. You know, I know this guy's a freak. I know he's weird and whatnot, but I think he was doing that as an ends to a means. I don't think we need to go this far with it.
See, I think that this is when it really like tipped over, leaning into the art house queer cinema type film, where it to me was just developing the character even more. It's like it goes to show that this guy, the way that he shows love is just with his fucking dick, and he loved this guy so much that the dirt that is holding him in the ground, he wants that.
It definitely is that motherfucker's crazy moment. You know, it's like
And he is a motherfucker.
Yeah, no, he is. No, it definitely sold as far as how crazy he is. So I, if that was the intent, then it worked there also.
I want to hear though your thoughts though on the music in the movie, because like all the songs that they use, because there's a lot of pop songs in this, and I like a lot of the songs, but the only scene that I thought really worked, and even that one scene at the end, I thought it got too on the nose, but I really like that the way they use that song. But all the other songs, I was like, you're bringing too much attention to this, and they were like the lyrics of the song were like representing what was on screen
Really,
and stuff
I don't
like
know.
that.
I like the soundtrack.
No, I like it. It's just that it felt too on the nose.
I
to
thought
me.
I thought it fit the opulence of this family. You know, they're always partying. They're always looking for any excuse to party. This is why they threw Oliver a birthday. They didn't give a fuck about Oliver's birthday. They just wanted an excuse to like invite a bunch of people over and spend some money and party and do drugs and whatnot.
When they're singing him happy birthday, I'm like, what's this guy's name?
Happy birthday. Who the fuck is this? Yeah, happy birthday to you. Yeah, they didn't give a shit about it. They were looking for any excuse to just party, man, or celebrate themselves. So the soundtrack I thought was actually
What'd you
pretty
think
good.
of the last scene though?
Which, well, I'll get to that in a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Let me see here. But see, this is what I'm saying, man. So, I think all this freaky stuff that they had in here, even the grave part. That's probably why I probably didn't like the grave part as much, because I'm thinking like, the way I look at it with all the weird stuff that was going on here, as I mentioned before, they didn't need to have a twist ending. They didn't, and this is what I'm talking about with terrible writing. So we just showed you some scenes in this movie, which I said were almost just genius direction here, man. A lot of brilliant stuff here. A lot of brilliant stuff visually, a lot of amazing stuff with the writing. We were talking about Rosamund Pike. Rosamund Pike has some of the funniest dialogue in this film. There's a point in here where she says she tried to be a lesbian one time, but I tried to be a lesbian, but it was just too wet.
Yeah, that's right.
I prefer the dryness of men. And I was like, man, I understand that. I was like, women are very wet, It's a very sloppy thing with women, man. We keep it dry, at least until the end. But we're all kind of dirty ourselves. But I thought that was a great line that she had right there. But all this great writing they have in here, and then at the end they pull a montage. I'm talking about Usual Suspects M. Night Shyamalan montage.
Coffee cup drop.
Yeah, and I thought for as good as this movie is, man, everything that they had going on here that was so brilliant. You pull something out that's hack, right? People who show montages now to reveal a twist. That's a joke now.
There was the thing with the bike. That was the one part where I was like, "Ooh, I don't think you needed that."
No, yeah, the montage. She showed him like when he first meets Felix. They like, oh, he set this up because he put a hole in Felix's bike earlier. He poisoned. Now, if you don't know in the movie, Felix dies. Of course, because we're doing spoiler talks. But Felix dies. He poisons Felix's wine. His sister was so depressed that she committed suicide. Turns out that he was the one that put razor blades by the bathtub, which is like, wow, that was real convenient. I mean, were you sure she was going to kill herself? I thought all this is terrible writing, man. All this is very convenient. A lot of this is implausible because it hinges on luck. And by the way, when did you have time to set all this shit up? To get this family? Because I'm confused. Did he plan to kill the family after Felix caught him lying?
I hadn't thought about that. I think it just like all kind of fell into his lap. Like he just like went along with it. Like I do think that you're right. There is a lot of luck involved with it. And them explaining, it's like, actually, he didn't kill the sister. He just got her to kill herself.
Yeah, it's still, I thought that was terrible. Terrible. If you didn't have that in there, this would probably be a full price movie for me too. But that ending, I was like, I know y'all ain't doing this shit right now. I know you're not doing this.
It was just making me laugh at the end. Like even when they would explain stuff, because I thought that the original ending should have been when he meets the mom in the coffee house at the end. Remember that?
Yeah,
like
no,
right before. Yeah, I thought that was really funny when they explained what he was doing there. Did you see his computer screen? It was just like a bunch of letters of M. Just like, nothing
so
on
y'all
the screen.
remember like the father died. Sir Cotton died. And and then this is another thing I had a problem with in the movie. Now that you brought that up, so at the end of the movie, as you know, if you've seen the film and you have, so Oliver and Elsbeth, they rekindled their relationship, which we're not sure, was it romantic, was it sexual, was it just her trying to adopt him as a son, a surrogate son?
Early on, there's a scene where they're clearly flirting. That's
Well,
why I was
that's
like,
the one right there.
Oh,
The
yeah,
way
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
when
right.
he's sitting up there, he's talking about you're beautiful. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I don't think that they built up enough of a relationship for them to have that ending. You know, I don't think it was clear. First of all, we weren't given enough scenes to really be clear on how much she actually liked him. You know,
There's a lot of off-screen implication of that.
Well, I just don't think that they showed enough scenes of their relationship or the buildup of their relationship. So all of a sudden, he's talking about how much he like when Sir Cotton at the end. Sir James Cotton is asking him to leave. You know, because he's still at the house after the sister died, after Felix has died. He's still hanging around, and he said, "All right, you need to go because we need to grieve as a family." And he's like, "I'm not leaving because, well, your wife is depending on me." And at that point, I even questioned myself. I was like, why? They didn't really explain that. Why is she really into him? You know, and I don't think I got a scene besides this one right here to explain that. So when they finally got at the end, she's like, "Oh, Oliver," when she sees him at the coffee shop. "Oh yeah, well, I still have Saltburn. I got a flat right down here. Hey, let's hang out again." I was like, all right, I'm not buying this.
I think that the reason for that is because Oliver to the mom is the ultimate plaything. Like the way that, like, you know, he's a tragic figure. That's why he kills Felix, right? Because Felix knows that Oliver's full of shit and he didn't have an abusive household. You know, his parents aren't drug addicts, and the mom still thinks that. So she thinks like, oh, I can raise this guy up from beyond his dreams, you know. And they sold that to me. But I hear you where you're coming from with that.
And in any other movie, if you didn't have enough substance behind those scenes, people would say that movie's terrible.
Oh yeah.
So there's enough going on behind this movie besides, you know, these shocking scenes or whatever you want to call them, sensationalist scenes, you know, these titillizing scenes, these nasty scenes, whatever you want to call them. There's more going on behind the movie besides those. I think when people come in and see the movie, they probably don't even realize, like, oh my God, the rest of this movie is really good.
Yeah, what's so funny is those big, loud scenes that you just listed, those are some of the more subtle parts of the movie. Like, the movie's really on the nose for the rest of it, I would say.
Yeah. But I like I said, I enjoyed it. It's a very frustrating matinee. I already said this, but
What about the very end, though?
When he's dancing around.
Yeah. That felt like almost.
That's
like,
what I was talking about. He's muscular and shit. Because he was kind of, you know, he's sexy running around there, man.
I thought that was kind of like, in a way, like it reminded me of Boogie Nights, you know. Like finally, like, because they imply that he's got a big dick at one point, you know, and then you just see him running through the house dancing around.
Well, I think it was just like at the end of the movie, it showed that he won.
Yeah.
It was like, hey,
Asshole.
Saltburn is mine. Yeah. I can run around this house and rub my dick on everything. You know, that's something I do really like about the film. I do like the whole time. And this is why I wish they had done this better without a twist. I like that Farley, that his name? Farley was, I like that Farley was talking about how he's an outsider. He'll never have Saltburn. And I don't even think Farley died.
No.
So Farley lives to see Oliver running through Saltburn mansion, running through Saltburn castle like a damn vampire with his dick hanging out. And gets to see that he got what this guy always wanted. That in a way, this guy he probably, because everybody died. You know, they're gone. This guy has to live and see this guy pretty much going in and just, you know, just doing that. This time, just fucking the castle.
See him sitting in his throne.
Yeah. No, I love that part of it. So yeah, that's what I mean, man. There's so many intelligent things going on in this movie to have such a dumb, lazy ending. But again, I would recommend the movie. I enjoyed it very much.
Oh yeah.
I caught myself going back and watching parts of the movie again because I just love those performances so much.